Hello, hello. Welcome to Young Reech Capital's live stream. We are looking at Bitcoin today, and today is the 24th of April, coming to you live from India. We are seeing a lovely bullish momentum on Bitcoin right now, the past few days actually. So, I'm going to be discussing what Bitcoin is going to be doing. Do we have any trade opportunities in the upcoming days? I'm going to be discussing some scalp setups along with some potential long term opportunities as well. And I'm also going to touch up a little bit on some basic trading knowledge for all types of investors. I have a list of things to discuss today. Um, so let's get to it right away. And today's topic is going to be supply and demand and order blocks, smart money concepts. I'm going to make it super simple. I'm not going to use too many complicated words and stuff. So let's just go with the flow and see where the stream takes us. And I'm going to keep it short and simple as well. At the moment, we are on the Bitcoin chart, on the 1 minute chart. I'm going to zoom out into the 15-minute chart. The chart does look a bit messy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a much cleaner chart as actually. So let me do this. Let me get rid of all this right here on this chart. Looks like I do have some stuff that I had on it. So let me pull up the OKX chart. All right, this is a clean chart. Let me close up the indicators as well. There we go. This is the 15-minute chart on Bitcoin. And wow, that actually looks pretty cool. This is the 15-minute time frame. And what I'm looking at Bitcoin right now is I'm looking at Bitcoin to stay the course with this lovely uptrend and continue its bullish momentum right here. If you take a look at this amazing conviction of the bulls at this trend line, which was essentially just about 2 hours after the London session open. Right here, if you see, we got a very nice reaction to this trend line tap here, and since then we have achieved about a 2% uh, about a 2000 point move on Bitcoin. So I'm really excited to trade this market right now. It's looking really optimistic. It's looking very simple. There's not much choppy maneuvers going on. Um, yeah, I am absolutely excited right now to trade this. As a matter of fact, I am in a long on Ethereum. So we will be discussing that as well. This is the TXY chart. Look at the Trump chart. Damn, that is quite the pump right there. Oh, that's a pump of 75%. So basically, there was a news that the top 220 holders of Trump coin would be given the opportunity to have dinner with Mr. Donald Trump. So, which is precisely why there was this massive move. Yeah, man, this is just really funny. So, honestly, I don't really trade the Trump token anymore because it's just unnecessarily volatile, and uh, we might have some better interest now ever since the news announcement of the token. So this does look like a pretty good conviction. These two candles, these three candles, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I would definitely be looking at the Trump chart and potentially seeing where we could go along here. Might look into some potential scalp opportunities as well. Let me pull up the RSI just to see what we're doing. Yeah, so everything is pretty much overbought right now, and we are looking a bit bullish, no doubt, but at the same time, just as I mentioned yesterday, we are in a space of overbought zones. This is the Trump chart, but let me just go back into the BTC chart. All right. Yeah, you see, the Bitcoin chart is way cleaner. This is what is called as a really clean traded chart to the upside. So the bulls made it happen once we broke through this consolidation. This this zone was a very important zone for Bitcoin, and I think if I pull up the chart from yesterday's live stream, I'm just going to quickly go through. I'm going to recap what we spoke about yesterday, and also the lovely trade ideas that I presented to the live stream. I did present two live trade ideas. One was on Bitcoin. Essentially, I presented a short opportunity, which was right here. I presented this opportunity on Bitcoin, a good 3 hour trade actually. I think I presented a 4 hour trade, but then this still would have been a really good short right here. This move down. I did present this live. I gave this trade out live with the stops and entries and everything. And I also had mentioned that we have this fair value gap playing out right here, since we did get a tap of the fair value and we did push up. At the same time, we did reject off of this level, which was the golden pocket of this Fibonacci retracement. So what I also mentioned was there was this order block right here, this supplies the demand zone right here. I did mention that we would come into this, and this is where I would be interested in taking along. And just look at the lovely conviction and the lovely response at this zone right here. It has tapped exactly into this, just so clean, right into this demand zone. You've tapped in, and then boom, look at the move that's happening. At the same time, we did have some confirmations as well. The first confirmation was this trend line support, this trend line that we did take support right here. At the same time, there was an order block. I will tell you what an order block is. So this is what I wanted to discuss on today's live stream, what an order block is and the different types of order blocks that are available as well to trade with, and essentially use it as a form of support and resistance, so that anybody who's looking to refine their trading in the short term, long term, medium term, whatever it is, this is going to be useful for all kind of traders. So also not only traders who are trading on a regular basis, but also for newcomers, beginners who are just interested in investing in general, right? So these concepts would be really helpful to anybody of all professions, of all ages. So anybody who's looking to invest would be absolutely welcome to learn, right? So let's get to it right away. So I'm just going to quickly show you my trade on Ethereum. I was expecting this price to hit, but we did not tap into this zone, so I did not get this price. What I ended up doing was I just ended up taking a retest of this trend right here. Essentially, this was the trend line. be more precise with it. So, yep, this was my trend line that I was looking at just maybe just couple of minutes before New York open is when I was looking to take a long. As soon as I started seeing some conviction of this break from this trend line, at the same time I did see a conviction of a break of this trend line as well. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me start looking for some potential long opportunities, and we are absolutely bullish. At the same time, I did have a confirmation of a golden pocket Fibonacci response as well right here. So this is what I was quite happy with, which is why I'm in a long right now on Ethereum. So this is where I place my long. My stops are now slightly above break even, so I'm overall in profit. I'm going to be in profit whether the trade comes back down or not. I've taken my partials right here at this consolidation zone because it is starting to slow down right here. The price is stalling here, so I'm gonna just take it easy. I have already taken 50% off the table right here, and I'm gonna just let the rest of the trade run, hopefully all the way to this zone. And if it comes back down, I'm still gonna be out of this trade in profit. So overall, this is gonna be a successful trade. My apologies, I could not offer this trade live because I was busy doing something else, so I had to take this trade on the go. And I will definitely find a setup next time when I'm on the live, or maybe on this live at as and when I'm talking about a certain concept, or I'm just uh, grooving and moving with this live stream. If I find a setup, I'll be glad to share it, gladly share it with anybody who's on the stream. So what we are looking at right now is the 5 minute Ethereum chart. So I'm going to just quickly touch up on what an order block is. Basically, an order block is uh, an area of demand or supply, essentially a place where a lot of orders have been placed so that there's a lot of strength to either side of the market. In this case, this was to the upside. So if you see, the place where I have highlighted is what is known as a bullish order block, right? So that is something that a bullish order block, a demand block, whatever you want to call it, is going to show you some potential strength to the upside. And what I usually like to do is to find retracements into these order blocks rather than taking a breakout trade from an order block. I'd rather wait for a retracement into it, which shows higher conviction and also potential cleaner price action towards the upside or the downside. In this case, it was to the upside. So I'm not going to go into all the types of order blocks today. I'm just going to discuss what an order block is and how we can take a trade from it. I think that would, kind of keep it simple. And I would like to discuss order blocks in length at a different time because at the moment we do not want to complicate things. So let's just make it simple. And I'm just going to leave you with one thing with order blocks. So a high conviction order block works when there is a fair value gap right above it or right below it. So in this case, there is a fair value gap right above this order block, which I had marked out in yesterday's live stream. If you were part of it or if you went through it, this highlighted zone, what I'm highlighting right now, if you see this gap right here, this is what is known as a fair value gap. And just take a look at how beautifully the price has retraced into this fair value, went back up, and then it came back into this fair value right here. And then what we did on the second time is we tapped into the order block as well, right? the same time, as soon as we tap back into the order block, we completed our move back above the 50% level of the fair value, which is what I had mentioned yesterday. And let's not get too complicated by discussing what this 50% level is and stuff like that. That's a topic for fair value, which I discussed yesterday. If anybody wants to get back into it, you can just take a look at yesterday's live stream, and there's a part of the stream where I discuss what the fair value does and what the 50% level of the fair value is as well. So if you take a look at this, we have a beautiful touch of this order block and nice response to the upside, right? Now, what we are seeing is a potential area of resistance. And why is that? If I pull up the 15-minute time frame, we do have some potential bearish order blocks right here. This would be considered a bearish order block, right? At the same time, this would be considered as a much higher, powerful, much more powerful bearish block. Rather than this would be considered as the most powerful bearish block, because this is essentially where the price started moving from, whether it's to the downside or to the upside, right? In this case, the price started moving to the downside with quite a major momentum. So this order block, essentially, it is the green candle before a, a series of down close candles, which is what is called as a bearish order block. And over here it would be the red candle before the series of up close green candles, right? So that is the difference between a bullish order block and a bearish order block. So in this situation, we have a bearish order block right here, and we are looking to tap into this and then most likely come back down. And if we end up taking support on this trend line right here, we could look to convert this fair value into a bullish fair value, which is called as an inverse fair value gap, right? And for the market to convert a fair value into an inverse or an inverted version of the original fair value, it's going to need to have a lot of volume and pressure to either side. At this situation, if I want to convert this into a bullish fair value, I'm going to need a lot of volume coming in. At the same time, I'm going to need some major conviction from the bulls to push the price above and you know make it go further up. So at this moment, I don't think that's going to happen because BTC, Bitcoin, has already rallied quite a lot. So it's going to have to cool off a bit. And we are already at quite a lot of oversold zones. And if you see this, we are also looking kind of bearish, because we do have some potential bearish divergence forming out here in this, especially in this move right here. This is quite a bearish situation on the 15-minute time frame. So in the short term, we could chop around here and kind of come back in. So I don't think this order block, it's gonna be quite a good rejection zone at this moment. So let's keep an eye out for this um, order block right here, as I've marked out, right? So this is what we're looking at. The order blocks on higher time frames are also going to be quite powerful, no doubt, because with such a time frame like 15-minute or a 30-minute or anything above a 15-minute time frame, the order blocks will be more powerful because of course there is more volume in the higher time frames. In the lower time frames, there is a lot of potential where the OI, open interest, and the volume is kind of fakes people out. So the higher time frame has a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? Strength, let's say, to showcase where the market wants to create certain zones of support or resistance, supply or demand, right? So at the moment, looks like this particular, yeah, looks like this particular fair value gap is holding up really well, and the zone is going to be a massive support zone, looks like. So if we start closing below this zone, make sure to look for some potential shorts here to the downside, right? So we can come in and retest this trend line right here, which I think is possible sometime soon, no doubt. So just make sure you take care of all these simple things and do not overcomplicate things. And please let me know as soon as I start kind of saying too many words and overcomplicating things, if at all. Just let me know, send me a message, and I will be forthcoming and absolutely correct my mistakes and keep it way more simple than what I'll be doing. If at all I'm doing something that you find complicated, please let me know in the comments, and I will immediately relax myself and keep it as minimal as possible, right? Because of course my whole approach to everything is to find the clarity in all this chaos of the crypto market, and in general all this volatility and what people are afraid of in pretty much all this time, especially when it comes to crypto, is where people kind of get put off because of all the volatility and all the scams and you know all kinds of nonsensical things that go on. And of course, I can give a certain sense of assurance. Not only me, like the market can give a sense of assurance to people who are new to it, because there is something called as ETFs, exchange traded funds, that have gone live in 2023. I think 2023 was when it went live, 2022. I might be mistaken on that timeline, but so that's something. What that means is like a lot of institutional investors like BlackRock, hedge funds, and like plenty of smart money and like institutional players, banks, and secure money is what I would, the better way to put it. Secure money is kind of coming into this place because people who manage secure money essentially are people who like to stay safe and do not like to manipulate things as much as what happens or used to happen in the crypto market back in the day. Even though it does happen even till today, there is a lot of manipulations ongoing with the crypto market. uh, I would say that at this moment the market has cooled off with all these unnecessary manipulations and certain uh, extreme volatile events. Of course, it does happen, no doubt. That is another video that I will be discussing in the near future, is how to deal with volatile events, how to deal with extreme price moves and manipulations and stuff like that. The short answer is to just stay away from the market and look at it as an observer, like as though you were watching a movie or something like that. That that would be the best way to go about it. But if you really want to trade such an environment, for example, this move right here would be considered as a manipulation, right? How do we trade this? It's actually really simple. Just draw out a trend line, let it breach the trend line. As soon as we breach the trend line, we get a retest of it. If you observe it, we almost get a retest here, we get a retest here. So we can start looking for some potential short opportunities at these levels, right? And that would give us a brilliant move of about 10%. And usually, when it comes to these extreme volatile and manipulated situations, there The rewards are very big, and the risk is also very big. But if you know how to manage your risk during such events, you can maintain your risk at an extremely low value, and you can increase your rewards to easily, like, at least 10 times your capital that you are planning to deploy for the trade, right? So, for example, a clean convicted trade on this would be something like this, where we wait for the price to retrace into the 50%, closer to the Fibonacci golden pocket, closer to this trend line. And then we start looking for some potential shorts based on the price action that develops within this local range, right? So this is, I would consider this as a much bigger range in comparison to this or this, right? So these are smaller ranges within the much bigger range, right? So this brings me to talking about ranges, right? So at this moment, if you take a look at this, if I just draw in potential Fibonacci retracement, let's say from here, right? My apologies. From here, look at the conviction that we had at this 50% level to the downside. Or if you're looking for an entry, so okay, so I'm gonna talk about entry points and optimal trade entries at a different time on a different video. At the moment, I'm just discussing what supply and demand and ranges are. So if you look at it at this moment, there's an order block sitting right here, there's an order block here as well. But honestly, for the price to go back all the way to this order block, it's gonna have to make a big move, which it really didn't, right? So the closest it would come is into this order block, and just look at what happened. It tapped into this order block at least one, two, and three times before it went down. And discussing, because today's topic is about order blocks, I want to stick to it. And we'll get to Fibonacci's, we'll get to optimal trade entries, we'll get to retest, we'll get to a bunch of different opportunities, options for different type of entries into the trade. But at the moment, let's just talk about order blocks, because that's what I started off with, right? As a trader, I actually started off with support and resistance, and then it slowly developed into what order blocks are and stuff like that. So what an order block is essentially a zone of support or resistance, right? So if I have to draw out a support level here or a resistance level, I would draw out a resistance level just like this, and I draw out a support level like this. All right, just based on looking at price action from all the way here. That's how I actually started my trading, right? When I didn't know anything, I was essentially a complete noob at it. I had no idea what trading was, none of it. So I just started understanding what support and resistance was through a bunch of YouTube videos and a couple of books and, yeah, tutorials and stuff like that. And it kind of led me to understanding what support and resistance was. So as soon as I understood what that was, my natural instinct to observe patterns in general, not only talking about looking at the chart, I'm talking about observing patterns in life, right? That kind of gave me an edge to understanding what these patterns were in a chart, right? This is a piece of advice that I can give to every single human being on the planet, because we have this ability to observe patterns. These patterns, whether it's anybody in whichever profession we are in, we have this ability to observe patterns in nature, in life, in our profession, in our personal life, in our social life, whatever it is, right? So we have this ability, we have this innate and really cool ability, this awesome mysterious ability to instinctively observe patterns and kind of make it work for us in in a for to an advantage, so that it enhances our life, makes our life more efficient. And then, so just coming back to it, at this moment when I started looking at these patterns form in these charts, right? This is a 15-minute chart on BTC. This is like around 10th March and about the beginning of the month of March, right? So if you look at this, we had so many points of interest at this level, but I can only draw this line once we have these points of interest. And what are these point of interests? These point of interests are essentially patterns of constant support zones, which is precisely why I just drew it here, right? And the same thing can be said of even this as well. And then, as we were talking about this manipulation event right now, if you look at it, how cool was it that the price kind of came back into this zone and rejected all the way back down here, which is exactly what happened here. But we ended up kind of flipping this support zone into a resistance zone. And then we went down even further. And at the same time, after going down further, we did take this as a support and then we came back down. And we did that again, came back down until we ended up slowly grinding up further and creating this zone back into support, right? Which is precisely what happened just before this move all the way up. So that is my quick breakdown on support and resistance and how the market tends to react when it comes to certain price levels and pattern recognition, and how we can better apply it in to the charts. And it naturally reaches a point when we are able to apply these patterns in life, because what this does is it increases our impulse control in our life, our psychological state of mind in general. I'm talking about my personal experience of trading when it comes to real life, right? There are many times where I wanted to be impulsive, but I immediately got hold of it because of my understanding, and my constant experience in the market led me to a point where certain aspects of my life, personal life in general, outside of trading, has been so much more clearer because of my discipline when it comes to trading. Of course, I'm not 100% perfect in anything. No doubt, I still have my flaws when it comes to certain aspects, whether it's trading or in my personal life or social life, whatever it is, right? So, all I'm talking about is pattern recognition and keeping it simple, essentially, taking it as simple as possible. Finding the clarity in all this chaos is a good purpose to have. In general, of course, it's a good life advice as well. But if anybody's looking for something in trading and looking to see how you can trade better or how we can understand the market better, how to invest better, whatever it is, just find a simple thing and keep doing that consistently. Keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again until you find a point where it just becomes a natural extension of yourself, right? So you don't have to think twice before doing something. That's when you know that it is a natural part of your life, because you don't have to think about it before doing it. So if you just saw me kind of plot these support and resistance, I just did it in a span of 10 seconds, right? I didn't have to think twice. I just saw the pattern and I placed the lines. I can do the same with a bunch of concepts, which is precisely why I started live streaming. And I have reached a point in my life with trading and in general where I really feel like I have a lot to share with people. Absolutely not saying that I'm some master of things. I am still learning as well, because such is life. We will continue to learn all throughout, and that's awesome. I love that. But at the same time, I do have something to share. I feel like there is something important here, because I really feel like we can make this happen. We can curate this and make this into a certain part of our life where we can generate certain passive income ideas through trading. This is for all kinds of people, whether it's for the short term, long term, or the medium term, whatever it is, right? So let me get back to this real quick. I'm just going to quickly break down BTC. I'm going to consolidate the chart real quick and take a look at Ethereum. I'm also going to do a couple of videos with altcoins as well, just to see what possibilities are there. Maybe tomorrow would be a good live stream to discuss altcoins and see where we are at. And I would definitely love to break down some charts. So if you guys have any altcoin requests and stuff like that, just let me know and I'll put it down. But I do have a couple of them on my watch list. Real quick, let me just get to the Fartcoin chart. Every time I say the name Fartcoin, it makes me laugh because Fartcoin. Right. Anyway, this was a trade that I posted live on my stream yesterday. As I was talking about it, we were somewhere here, and I provided this this exact trade. I let it be exactly. I did not touch this chart because I wanted you all to see this today, because this was a trade that I provided yesterday on the stream, and just look at how beautifully the trade played out. We had a great retracement into this golden pocket, and that literally is a 4 hour trade right here. 4 hour, a 4 hour trade in one day. That's four times your portfolio. So if you, even if you had put $100 here, that move would have given you $400 just on one move. And the stop loss, essentially what you would be risking is, you can set it. I usually set it at 10% or 5% of my portfolio, right? So if you are risking $100 on this trade, you would be losing $100, of course, to make $400. That is how risk to reward works. So that's 1:4, right? You're risking one to make four. You're risking $100 to make $400, or you're risking $1 to make $4. Whatever it is, you mean risking $1,000 to make $4,000. It depends personally, and that's another video as well where we are going to be discussing risk to reward and how we can better manage our capital, what kind of capital sizing is required per trade, all of it. That's a different topic as well. I will do that in the upcoming days, maybe next week sometime. I'm going to add that to my list as well. So this was the trade though. This was a lovely trade on Fartcoin. Look at that, beautiful. So if you guys are looking for trades like these, um, more clarity, less chaos, simple trades within a much broader perspective, relaxed trades, no rush, no complications, everything preset beforehand, so you don't have to keep looking at the charts all the time. One trade is all you need, maybe two, unless you're into some major scalping situation, then it's different. But if you're just trying to keep it simple and you have other things to do, you have another job, or you don't really want to sit in front of the chart, just come on to my live stream whenever I post it on my socials. You will definitely find an opportunity for a trade sometime in the week. I come live on Friday, Monday to Fridays, and there's always at least one or two opportunities for a trade available. So it's up to you, and you're always, anybody's welcome on the stream. You can ask questions and we can discuss a bunch of things. Great. So I think that's it for today's live stream. We're looking at Bitcoin staying above this trend line. I'm just going to quickly give you some ideas. If at all we end up breaking below this level, we could look for some shorts and something like this. It's above this fair value, and we can target this range high right here, the previous range high. We can target this, and this was a 2 hour trade. But honestly, I wouldn't really look to take a trade unless we find a good candle close below this level, right? We need to find multiple candle closes, and then on this retest, we can take a trade on this retest right here. Or if you want a much higher RR trade, higher reward trade, a break from this trend line, actually, as a matter of fact, could give you a trade opportunity as well. Right here, let me make that a little more precise right now. There we go. Let me do it like this. All right. This is where we took support today at just about an hour, or maybe 2 hours after new London Open. So this is what I would do if at all BTC starts closing below this trend line. I would consider taking some shorts here, but be careful. As long as this fair value is intact right here, we are going to be in a zone of support, no doubt. So please do be careful within the zone. Don't be shorting into this support zone. Make sure we have some kind of flush below the support zone, and then look for some retest shorts. That would be a good idea, rather than just blindly shorting this. Unless you want to take a high risk trade, then it's up to you, but I would suggest keep it simple, relax, let it break down, retest into this trend line again, which is highly likely, and then you short it, which you'll get a way better risk to reward as well. So that would be like a really good trade, which is I'll tell you what a potential possibility would be on this trade is, if we break down from this, we'll probably come into this zone here, retest this fair value, which would become an inverse fair value. At the same time, that would also kind of uh, be looking at the golden pocket zone right here. This would be the golden pocket. Then we can take the shot, right? So there will be so many confirmations that the shot would be an ideal situation and a much higher probability setup, rather than just blindly shorting it right here, because many times, once there are a lot of possibilities that the trend line breaks can be potential fake outs, that just be unnecessary. So let's just wait. Let's a good structure form, and then take the shot, right? So, all right, this was a good, quick, brief stream. I think we are at not sure what we are at right now. We are at about 51 minutes. Not bad, yeah. It's a good, quick stream. There's a lot of knowledge packed into this, and I feel like I kind of sped things up a bit and slightly moved the information around. Could have been a little confusing, so I'm going to start kind of keeping it a bit more simple from next week onwards. Tomorrow I'm going to discuss some basic things, all coins breakdowns and stuff. But yeah, just bear with me because I'm new to live streaming and I'm kind of understanding how to go about explaining things to people, and I'm going to refine my approach with every live stream. So yeah, please bear with me, and yeah, let's learn, let's grow together, let's discover, and let's go. Welcome to Young Reach Capital. We have a long way to go. Anybody who's with me on this journey, we're going to be creating a lot of wealth, and yeah, we're going to be creating a lot of wealth, and we're going to be doing some cool things for ourselves and for other people as well. And that's what it is all about, helping people and growing together. All right. So I will be logging off the live stream, and this is Young Reach Capital coming to you live from India, and I will see you tomorrow at New York Open, which is 9 a.m. New York time, 7 p.m. Indian time, Indian Standard Time. Alrighty then. Take care. I will see you on the next one.